Some motherfuckers. I'm just kidding. What's up? Welcome back to Sid's Builds. Been gone for about 3 days, and my microphone broke, so it took a good while to get back in, but we're here. Let me give you a little bit of a backstory on these forklifts. So they've been sitting for about 6 to 10 years, and the transmission was taken out of one of them, both filled with oil. It was a bitch to take these apart, especially with a freaking impact. If you don't know what the frick you're doing, you're gonna just torch the shit off. Oh, and by the way, next time something like this does come up, I'm gonna be having my mounted freaking tripod on my chest. Anyways, my chest. That way you guys can see fire burning or me welding or just a close-up of whatever. But anyways, I'm torching this dash off of this forklift because it just needs to come apart already. Just sparks flying everywhere. That's why I have my welding hood on in grind mode. Okay. So the material that was actually on these forklifts was about 1/4 of an inch up to 2 inches on all of this forklift, like actually both of them. I did start out with the clean tip one time during this whole process, and that was practically my fault, but nonetheless I got the job done within 2.5 weeks, so there's that. If you have ever torched up any kind of forklift, just know what the hell is smoking right there. It's rubber hoses, hydraulic shit, oil hoses, all kinds of shit. If you have rubber hoses, you're gonna have smoke. During this whole process, I had an umbrella over me for about 45 minutes during this whole damn time. A kind employee that works here decided to grab an umbrella and put it over me. And now I'm just trying to kick this shit with my boot. Trying to be Hulk, but kicking. Didn't turn out so good. Trying to think of where else can I torch this shit at to get this dash off, and I decided to torch the top of this freaking dash. This here was not my umbrella to ruin, so I kindly took it out. And then I just went apeshit on this whatever dash this is that controls the hydraulics and the forklift and all that other good shit. So for a second, I really wanted to quit on this part, but something told me, oh, bend the dash back. So I looked underneath it, and guess what? I found even more hoses to catch fire. Haha. So just like that, I ended up grabbing my torch and my striker, catching the torch on fire and going to town. When you're dealing with hydraulic hoses, you tend to get a metal tube. Now, these here are not fun because whenever you go to strike any kind of fire on these metal hoses, it tends to spit back at you. So you just might want to be careful if you ever do this kind of stuff in the future. Got this little corner in the dash and off she goes, boys. I told this motherfucker, get the fuck off of that thing right now and get your ass on the ground. So I was talking to the manager of the place and the employee at the place, and this here's a completely different clip, but here we are, we're back. So the employee had to run, and he left me his forklift or a forklift from the business to work with, and this is where we are. Alright, so backtracking. I forgot that I had footage in the other phone. Torching the left side of the dash on the bottom. And now the top. I kept losing the cherry where the torch is, so that's why it was just catching air. This part for the forklift, I was cutting the chassis that holds the whole thing together. This was about a good ½ inch of metal right here. I had to take my time. There's support bars on the bottom of the whole forklift, so I was touching up one and then I went up and touched the other one. Now this employee was helping me out kindly, and I was just watching my feet, making sure that nothing freaking slammed on us, and the whole forklift just started coming apart. And yeah. At this point, I think something else needed to get cut, so I just restarted my torch and then cut it, and then here we are. With a little bit of tug of war with this metal, it was pretty damn thick. I'm guessing that this side here was a gas side because there was nothing in it, but I could be mistaken. But we ended up getting it off and it was hell, but here we are. I ended up cutting up some more stuff. I freaked that employee out because you'll find out why right now, because I set a whole flame and he grabbed the water and got scared. Here we are another day. I just didn't get footage of the ending of the other forklift. So here we are on the big forklift, which is a dually axle in the front. This here is a Nissan forklift dually axle, as mentioned before, and a lot more hoses with a lot more hydraulic fuel in them. And there was no fuel, but there was oil, so I decided to just keep the fires down with their hose that they provided. So there's layers of rubber hoses. You have the rubber part, then you have the screen part, then you have another rubber, that way it holds it all together, and then you have a metal pipe that's in the middle of the hose. So the first layer of rubber gets melted, then the screen, then the rubber, and then it creates a hole in the whole friggin' hose, which then goes down to the metal part. It catches fire like this here because there's friggin' liquid dropping out of it, and it's just catching fire and going fucking insane. Which then the fire is basically melting the rubber on the hose and making it look like friggin' lava, and it's fucking cool. Watch out for that big boom! So within this whole time, I'm supposed to be having a mask on and the proper PPE, but we're ignoring the OSHA, okay? This is where the water comes in, okay? The heat will get rid of the water and evaporate it. Going back in because mama didn't raise no beat. Again, the rubber melting makes it all smoke, and whatever else is in those hoses is making it smoke as well. Alright, so now I remember why it's on its side, because I was wondering while I was editing this video, why did this forklift be turned on its side? And I was dumb enough and didn't get anywhere and pretty much torched half of the inside frame of this forklift and was trying to basically gouge it with my torch, and that didn't work. The ass end of this forklift had at least 3,000 to 4,000 pounds of just solid steel on the back of it, and it was only being held on by one freaking 2-inch to 3-inch bolt going into the back of its ass. Working our way to the other side. Also trying to gouge it, didn't get nowhere because it still had the middle to do. Working with offset metal and 1/2 inch to 1/4 was a huge difference, and I was just cutting to be cutting at this point. I came around to the bottom side again and started torching overhead. I went down to all of the connected hoses that led to the radiator on this thing. So after all of that was blown up, I decided to go to the other 2 hoses and just fuck them up. There was some gussets and brackets that were holding this radiator up, so I decided to cut them in half. Decided to get into the forklift and make that thing useful instead of hurting my body. The hydraulics were failing because it had a leak, and the forks weren't staying up because of the hydraulics, and also the steering kept just turning and turning and didn't really stay locked in one position like a regular forklift should. So here I am trying to squeeze these forks into both of these channels that lift up 4,000 to 5,000 pounds, and my hydraulics kept slipping. With these big channels still being attached to the actual forklift itself, it kept sliding back every time I would put the forks in there. Coffee time and good morning. I'm putting on a strap on these 2 bars, and then I'm going to put them on the forks on the forklift and drag out this piece. I can adjust these, but they don't hold the pressure for the forks. There we go, just slam on out. Some odd reason I thought that I could just stick these forks in between these beams on this forklift, and goddamn, I was wrong. Then I was like, yeah, let's try this again. At this point, I would have already cut this C channel, but within this whole C channel that I was trying to get off of had a groove in it. That way it fits into the other one, the other C channel, as like a track. Then I was like, well, maybe if I shove something underneath there, something will happen, and this here will help me out from the forklift from slipping. And then I decided to put a strap on top of it and try to take it off like that, but then you can see the other bar going up at the top, and I had to cut that off. Got out the forklift, and then I came over here and manhandled this bitch. After multiple attempts of just playing with it, I finally got it off. After multiple attempts of trying to get these bars up on this forklift, they kept slipping off, so I finally got out and manually put them back on. And off to the little dump area that all the rest of this is going. Zoom, zoom, motherfuckers. Zoom. I have my YouTube videos coming out, but I forgot that I have another phone that I film with, so I'll see you guys in the next one here pretty soon.